can't promise you. Hopefully I look normal. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Destiny, and today we are talking about like allergies. Making me sound like I'm underwater. Alright, so here we go. Mom of two. Alright, so today we are talking about how life has changed since I've had my second child. So as you guys already know, I have Carmelo, who is 6, and Xavier, who is 1. And they are just polar opposites. I tell everyone that all the time. Pregnancies and my labors were completely different. In my opinion, their zodiac signs play a huge role in their personalities. I have a Libra and a Gemini. Been an interesting journey with the boys and doing things for a second time around. I have a lot of questions that I get on Instagram asking different things, so I decided to go ahead and do a video to answer everyone's questions and, you know, give you guys some feedback on what it's like. What's the best thing about having 2 boys? I personally feel like I was meant to be a boy mom, that having boys make you worry more, but at the same time worry less. You know that my boys are wild, so they're jumping off of things, which makes me worry more, but are so compassionate and so loving as men, and I think that makes me worry less. So it's just, having boys keeps you on your toes, and I think that I have girlfriends who have a boy and a girl, or all girls, and I feel like they experience the same journey with their kids. It's just a matter of the personality. And Carmelo is a very timid and calm soul who is to not be poked at. And Xavier is a wild, very independent, very strong-willed child at only 1. So they're just different men. But my heart, I think, is so consumed with just like keeping them my babies. What's the biggest difference so far with the oldest and the youngest? So Carmelo's my oldest, and I want to say with Carmelo, we had all of our first with him, and we were very worrisome first-time parents. At least I was. Mello worked like 12-hour days at that time. I mean, he still does, but at that time he was working 12-hour days, and it was a lot on me the first time around, not knowing what to do, not really having anyone to ask questions to. And then I was nursing him, and there was just different aspects the first year with Carmelo versus the first year with Xavier. On the flip side, with Xavier, most of his first year was spent in quarantine. So that has made it a whole nother journey in itself. I think that if this year would have been a normal year, but we were home most of the time, and now Xavier's about to be 1.5, and we're still home most of the time. So I will say that the biggest difference is that Carmelo was a great sleeper. It took a while to get adjusted on the schedule. Carmelo doesn't do things that he knows he can get in trouble for, where Xavier does not care if he's gonna like get in trouble. He'll go running into you and like headbutt you full force, and has like no worries about how that will affect either one of us. Stuff like demeanors, you know, Carmelo is loving up front, and like, again, you don't want to poke the bear type thing, where Xavier is all over loving, but like a reckless kind of love. So it's been interesting. But other than that, as far as like true differences, I feel like my approach with breastfeeding was easier with Xavier because I learned from Carmelo. The same thing with getting him on a sleep schedule. With Xavier, he was a little more babied and a little more, I didn't prioritize the like timeline of milestones, and like I wanted him in bed by like 3 months old, stuff like that. I didn't do that with Xavier. I just really absorbed my time with him and just try to embrace it and kind of let him do what he wanted to do. So I was much more lax the second time around. So I hope if you are currently pregnant with your second, or even with your first, that kind of eases your thought process. If you could, would you do the age gap differently? Probably not. I personally wanted this age gap mainly because the original thought was Carmela would be in kindergarten and I'll have that one-on-one time with Xavier during the day. And then as they got older, like high school and stuff like that, I was only having one at a time, one prom, one graduation. That was my thought. Like I said, COVID just kind of, you thought you had your life planned and it kind of shifted everything on you. So I ended up having to balance the two of them while, teaching Carmelo. And I think that even with that, the age gap was still pretty good, because Xavier is still small enough that he can be entertained by cartoons and just independent play. Like half the time I have Xavier out here with nothing on the TV, maybe some music playing, and he'll just play on his own. He's very independent like that, and that allows me to tend to Carmelo and whatever needs he has going on with school. How can you love them the same? Love this question, and I feel like it was a question I had when we were talking about having another child, and while I was pregnant with Xavier, like, how is it possible to love somebody as much as you love your first child? It ended up being that I loved my kids the same amount, the amount of love that I have for them, but it is different. We saw everyone. Carmelo had all of my first, and he still does. He has, he's 6 and I'm still learning something new every day as a parent of a 6-year-old, and that's going to continue as he gets older anyway. But Xavier, in my case, probably my last, and I treat him as very much like my last experiences. When I was nursing him, I wanted it to be that much more important for me to do it because I didn't think I was gonna get pregnant again. I wanted to make sure I captured every laugh, every role, every moment that I could, because I was only gonna have this baby at this age for this amount of time, and I'm not having any more kids. Because of that, they weigh the same, but emotionally they just carry a unique role, and it's nice to be able to have the two of them bring that kind of experience into my life. And even if I did get pregnant again, I would have Xavier as a middle child to experience how to balance those numbers, and then my next would be my last experiences again, and it just kind of makes it, I guess, each one just so important and unique and so great to watch. So I love them the same and they're amazing. Next question, are their schedules the same? No. So if we're talking about like when they were in the same age range, Bello pretty much went to bed and woke up around the same time as Xavier, but his naps were more frequent. Xavier usually just takes one nap in the middle of the day, but they both have the same bedtime for right now, at least while Carmelo's in school. On the weekends he doesn't really have a bedtime, but while he's in school during the week he does. So they both are in bed pretty early. Next question I got was, do I use hand-me-downs? I feel like they both have different identities and styles, and some things I have used, like maybe a pair of Tims or something like that, but most of the things I try to buy new for Xavier because I feel like his look is different. So, are you less stressed with your second? I am not. I am more stressed with my second than I was with my first, mainly because of the current state of the world, not because I have 2 kids. Xavier was an adjustment in the sense of him being just so rambunctious, but nothing that was worthy of being stressful, where the current state and not being able to do really anything with them and, feel comfortable to go to other people's houses or play dates or parks or anything like that. That has been more of a stressor than the actual children themselves. How was your pregnancy different between the two? My pregnancies with Carmelo and Xavier, I had hypertension with Carmelo. With Xavier, I had anxiety and back problems, which I did not have with Carmelo. For eating, Carmelo, I literally just ate everything and anything that was in sight. With Xavier, I could not keep a lot of things down, and I was on medication most of my pregnancy with him. Because of that, I was always sick. I couldn't even really drink water or anything like that. So because the pregnancies were so different with that, I honestly thought that I was pregnant with a girl. With Xavier, I gained maybe, I think, 13 pounds. I'm not even gonna go into how much I gained with Carmelo. I gained a lot with Carmelo. I disliked Mello very much in my first pregnancy. With Carmelo, I was just Mello could breathe and I did not like him. In my pregnancy with Xavier, I actually got really annoyed with my dad. My dad, for whatever reason, always got on my nerves, and he's my best friend, so it really irked me that I was getting irked at all. But other than that, I can say that I carried different with Xavier as well. With Carmelo, I carried very wide. Xavier, I carried narrow. I had complicated pregnancies, but for different reasons with both my kids. So I'm not good at being pregnant, which is probably why I would never have another child. Having to affect the relationship with your husband. We knew better our second time around. I always tell new couples, or not new couples, new parents, 3 months will make or break your relationship. I've watched couples literally fall apart from not being able to teamwork with their partner and adjusting to life with a child. And Mello and I were very much one of those people where we just were not on the same page. We were not working as a team. We were not communicating. We very much challenged each other. Probably the biggest adjustment we ever had to make as a couple, and we have been through a lot. So I feel like if you already have one child, then you kind of know what communication needs to be done the second time, or the third, fourth, fifth, however many times around. And it really comes down to a good balance and communication, in my opinion, with kids. And because I'm a stay-at-home mom, I pass off tasks to Mello. Even though he works all day, I cannot do the entire day on my own. But he almost always does evening routine, and that has really helped us keeping a healthy balance and communication with each other. What's the best advice you would give about multiple children? Be patient, not compare. Reassurance to both children is always important. Try not to worry about things that aren't relevant in the present day. We are always living so much in the future that our anxiety gets wound up, and we're so consumed with what's going to happen next instead of just worrying about what's happening right now. I feel like when you have more than one child, even any amount of children really, in my opinion, you lose track sometimes of life and what's important. Carmelo and Xavier were different for so many reasons. I always say Carmelo showed me kindness. I never thought that my heart can be as large and as gentle as it became when I became a mother to him. Xavier showed me strength, and I didn't think I could get through the darkest times that I had since having him. When I think about, multiples, I just think that they each bring something so unique to your life. And you almost forget what life was like before each one. It's so adjusted to your new you, and it's just embrace it and live within the present, and it just helps so much. Would you have a third? If so, would you pray for a girl? Would not probably have a third child. just because of my mental health. And if I did, though, it would be within the next 2 to 3 years. I very much feel like our circle is complete. But you never know what happens in life. We'll see. And if I ever did happen to become pregnant again, I would cross my fingers and pray for a girl. But something tells me I'm a boy mom either way. So they both have such masculine names. How did you pick them? Thanks. Carmelo, I always wanted him to be a third, which he is. Mello did not want to name him Carmelo. And that was a battle for about 16 weeks. I already had my girl name picked out. We were back and forth on a boy name. And it was right before a gender reveal. My father-in-law, who doing well, and my husband was like, you know, if you're okay with it, I really would like for him to be named after my dad, me and my dad. I was 1000% on board. Aside from the fact that I love the name Carmelo, I just loved my husband and my father-in-law. And Xavier, love Marvel. And after I had Carmelo, I was watching X-Men, and Carmelo was like, I love the name Xavier. If we have another boy, I want to name him Xavier. We ended up doing. So that was just some of the questions I had on my Instagram that I really wanted to and answer for you guys. I hope that if you are considering a sibling, definitely don't be nervous about the unknown, because any journey when it comes to having children is unique and amazing and so unpredictable, but so worth every moment. So be fearless, moms. Definitely do whatever is best for your family, and just know that planning and overthinking every step isn't going to answer all of your questions, because the journey really is so unique and so different for every person. All right, guys, so that's it. Those are all the questions that I had for my Instagram. I hope I was able to answer them all for you. If you guys have any other type of questions, don't forget to leave them in the comment section. I love just communicating with you guys and, you know, answering any of the questions, but also being there for mental support and guidance through our journey in motherhood. So thank you so much for joining. I love you guys. See you.